I'm a toy designer. I like living in Warsaw because it's a slower pace of life. It's in the Midwest where I am from, and I have family down here, and I like all of the outdoors, the lakes, and all of that, and I can sit here and focus and get my work done. I invent and develop toy products for a major toy corporation, and I correspond back and forth with them all day long through internet, as well as I download big giant files, 3D files and graphics files from the server out of Philadelphia and Hong Kong. So I need fast internet speed to get these drawings and get good communications done. And it's quite often hindered, and it slows me down in a big way because of the speed. I currently live inside the city limits of Warsaw, and the internet speed is very slow here, below 10 megapixels. I believe with faster internet speed, I could make more of a case to build more of an office here, have more people. Each of the remote towns and cities where various co-workers are at, they have built up and added staff. So with more internet speed, we could get more people, probably justified.
This is Jamesport, and I live about 15 miles north of here. I live on a highway, a main highway, but it's pretty rural out where we live. This year my daughter has online textbooks at school, and so there are some times when my daughter will have homework and she can't do the homework at home. We'll have to drive to a family member's house so that my daughter can do her homework because it's not available at home. For 4-H, signing up online is so hard because we sit there and watch the little circle, and it takes forever, and then it just shuts down, and then we have to go back and start over.
4-H is really a vital part of our small communities. It's not only for livestock showing and those events, I mean that's one piece of all of the things that they can do, but 4-H really gives them the opportunity for us to develop the public speaking, gets them involved, lets them meet other kids from other counties, other towns that they may not have the opportunity to do. Part of our 4-H online enrollment this year, 25% of my club members were not able to do that at home in the courtesy of their own home and privacy. So we had to set up an opportunity for them to do that in our church with our Wi-Fi that was pretty spotty, and then also just trying to make sure they could access it when they could. Others had to drive over 20 miles to our extension office to be able to do that, and it's only during working hours. So that made it difficult to get off work to go do that, to enroll their student or their child into our 4-H.
I'm a medical coder, and everything we do is with the electronic records online, and I have to do, everything has to be transmitted basically electronically, and I'm on the computer, you know, at least 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. We have a satellite internet. That's all we could get here. We can't get cellular service through our house. There's of course no fiber optics, there's no cable, none of that. So we ended up having to go with satellite. I got a business line, but it's still very limited. Between 10 a.m. and 2 a.m. I get 20 gigabytes, and between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. I get 25 gigabytes. So even though it's a business line, most of my data that I can use is during the middle of the night. I can't do any type of Zoom meetings, I can't do WebEx. A lot of my trainings are an hour long, and I can't do that because it will use entirely too much data, and I will have to pay for more. And actually last month I had to pay for more. I have a small soap business on the side, and because of that I need to learn how to do marketing. And those marketing trainings are heavy data users. Zoom meetings, WebEx meetings, all these things take a lot of data, and the training I have has several of them a week, you know, and they're an hour long, and that I can't really participate in those. And if I do, I have to do that between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. or I'm using my 9 to 5 business data.
About 2 years ago, we sold a farm that we had lived on for about 25 years. to move over to my husband's family farm, which is actually a Century farm. Before we moved, we had a fiber connection for our house, for TV or phone, internet. It was great. And then we moved 3 miles, just 3 miles, and we can't even get a satellite internet. We can't get fiber internet. I have a little hotspot that occasionally works, but not that well. It's to the point now that since we have moved, we can't really do online banking. I do mobile deposit of checks through my phone, and there are days when I can't even get that to work. You've got to be in a certain part of the house to actually be able to get that to go through, and then it takes a very long time to make that happen. My husband has a very difficult time researching equipment, researching articles for things that may be happening with the cattle, or researching stuff for the alfalfa, the hay, the markets, those types of things. We just don't have any way to get that information. So now it comes down to having to drive to the top of the hill with our phones to be able to get a good connectivity to research things, or you have to go to like the library or some other place or somebody else's house that has that type of connectivity, because we certainly can't do it in our house.
Our nurses go out into the home to help families as far as teaching them on how to care for someone. They assess the person's needs as far as physical, mental, social. They need to be able to get a hold of the physicians or the home office or even other staff if they have issues in the home, if they need a new prescription, a new wound treatment, that type of thing for the patient. And a lot of our patients are very, very rural, so they rely on cellular service a lot, patients, nurses. So they may get in their car and drive to the top of a hill so they have cell coverage or internet where they can contact someone else. Well, we have encouraged our staff that if they can find Wi-Fi service to where they can sync their information to the home office, to use that. It's not something that's everywhere. You just have to go to a chain restaurant that has Wi-Fi and you hope it has a public access. You know, you have to worry about HIPAA confidentiality, because if you're in a public place and you've got your laptop or your tablet up, you always have the risk of someone walking by and seeing people's names or even information about a person.
Our job is to keep our patients home and out of the hospital. We're getting open heart surgery patients 3 days post-op at home to take care of. We're 32 miles from the closest hospital and 100 miles from one that would even perform a surgery like that. So it's important that our role be there with them and have the ability to take control of an issue when it happens, if it happens, and the internet is vital to do that.